Mike, you've been in the news business for decades. Have you ever seen anything remotely as crazy as what is going on right now?
No, this has gone haywire.
Beyond
It's going to
crazy.
get worse. It's going to get worse in the next 24 hours.
What do you mean?
It's going to get crazier.
Well, tell
Big
me,
Wednesday, baby. Big Wednesday coming up.
you mean
Uh,
because of the debate? Or I know that,
now, I think there's going to be a lot of things flying in the next 24 hours before the debate. I think they're going to try to change the fabric of the debate, and there's going to be more things dripping out on the Biden clan, of course. And it's already started today. It started yesterday. I got some cops. I was one of the founders of the Wilmington, Delaware police hockey team. I don't know, I played on it 15 years. So they're saying they got their hands in this. Wilmington PD sources say state police is in on this now, and other stuff's going on. So they must have gotten some evidence. I saw that Rudy Giuliani is saying just a couple minutes ago that he handed something over to Delaware police yesterday. So that dovetails. So if the FBI is not going to do something about it, maybe the state police will. I mean, you know what's going to happen? They're going to have to make the state police are pretty cozy with the Biden clan, and somebody's going to have to make a decision whether they're going to go after this guy. I mean, the Bidens own Delaware, literally, especially around Wilmington, Newcastle County. They're gods and goddesses and everything. They've gotten away with so much through the years. Everything from drunk driving to stiffing contractors. I mean, I know a guy who did Joe's Kitchen and Jill's Kitchen in Delaware. I think it was like $45,000. I told you this before.
whoa.
The contractor finished it, and he's like, "Yeah, can I get like paid?" And he's like, "I'm the vice president. You trying to shake me down?" He's like, "What? You owe us like 45 grand." And he's like, "No, you're not. You'll be lucky to get anything." I never got a dime.
What?
Yeah,
And did
never
he
got a
sue
dime.
him or anything? No point.
How are you going to sue the vice president in Delaware, right? You're going
Yeah.
to sue Joe Biden in Delaware? Where's that going to go, right?
Nowhere.
When he does the recommendations for all the judges, the state and federal judges, right? So, okay, good luck suing Joe Biden. Same thing with the driveway contractor. Guy did 8,500, 12,000, whatever it was on his driveway. Like, you know how you come in, you get your driveway redone?
Yeah.
Stiffs the guy. It goes on and on and on. It's just, he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He thinks he's above the law. So this fits in with everything that he's done. This has been going on for 50 years. This isn't
Mike, is this a
something
horse stable at his house right here? It must be, right? On the right?
where
I mean, here's the main house. This looks like a horse stable to me because what's going on over here? And you got all this area. What is in this house? I mean, is it a garage?
I hear that I don't know what's going on there. I hear that he's negotiating for another $6 or $7 million house right down the road from this house. He wants from the current house he's in. He wants to get out of there. They just built a 6 or 7, or it might even be more. I think that's what it cost to build. Beautiful house, right down the road. You know, we're basically neighbors for the most part, and he's in negotiations to buy that house. And I think it's probably going to go through because the Secret Service just closed the road down that goes to the house. You can't. They closed the whole road down. Okay, because they think this guy's going to be president. It's like, wait a minute. Like we use this road to go places, and they're like, no, you can't. There's like cement barrier in front of it, and then a quarter mile, half mile up the road, there's another cement barrier. It's like road closed. Why? Is there a tree down? No. And they got like federal car parked out there. I'm thinking, that's the Secret Service. They closed the road down. This guy's going to buy a new house, and they're already closing the road down so people won't travel back and forth. They think the guy's going to be like the president, right? And I'm saying, how many houses does this guy own? You know, I think he rents a big house in Virginia too. A massive. It looks like the White House. I don't know if you know that.
You know, before we move off of the local police aspect of it, you know, Alex Jones and separately Wayne Allen Root yesterday were reporting that the laptop contained evidence of child abuse. And, earlier today, I brought forward some evidence that I found with the help of Charles Ortel. We basically, Fox News earlier had brought out, Mike, this receipt. We heard for years all this Russia collusion. It was a foregone conclusion that Donald Trump was a tool of Russia, but we never saw any evidence. Now here, the allegation is the crackhead left his crack Mac at the fix-it shop, and here's a signature on a receipt signed by Hunter D. Crackhead. And people are saying, well, it's unknown, it's unverified. We don't know if that's actually his signature or not. And then what I put out on Twitter just earlier is that we found a document Hunter Biden had signed, the board of directors statement or something like that for some failed startup social media company, and it's got his signature right on it. And I'm just looking for it right now. Sorry to be vamping, but it's like a dead ringer. I'm pretty sure this is the same signature. I don't know if you got a chance to see this yet. Well,
look, they haven't refuted it. There's no, I don't know why they haven't. I mean, it's, politically, I know a couple guys working on his campaign, and they're not the most seasoned guys. I don't know why they're working on the campaign and pretty good higher positions. I'm thinking, what are these guys doing? They haven't worked on any national campaigns before. Now they're working on a presidential campaign. The way to play this from a campaign would be to come out and deny it and say it's fake and buy yourself some time and cast a lot of doubt. Instead, he's gone into the basement and he thinks this is going to blow over. It's not going to blow over because the good stuff. Look, I said a tweet last week. You're dealing with pros here. Okay, this is like a professional operation. Pros are not people that you're used to on YouTube and things like that. Pros do things a certain way. One thing that they do is they drop a story, a couple stories, and they wait for the opposition to dig their own grave. They wait for the opposition to come out, go completely berserk, and dig their own grave. And the initial set of stories is not the good stuff. That's just your opponents, or your enemies, your adversaries can dig their own grave. The second part that comes out is you putting dirt on top of their heads to smother them in their own grave that they dug for themselves. You didn't even have to do anything. They dug their own grave. It's a thing of beauty. So the second phase is going to be bigger than the first phase. So this is a professional operation, and it's being run like a professional operation by professionals. When you say operation,
what do you mean? The revelation of the information, the Rudy Giuliani investigation? What's the professional operation?
This I've talked about it 1,000 times. This is a blood sport. This is politics. This is for all the chips, man. This is for the presidency. These things are planned out. Okay. They're planned out and they're rolled out by professionals. We see the difference between the professional operation here and what we saw last week. I don't even know what that was. That was just out of control. I don't even know what that was. Birdman. But the differences are stark. You're dealing with pros. Now you may or may not like Bannon or Giuliani, but these guys have been around and they have a certain way of doing things, and they're playing for keeps. This is for all the marbles, right? So that's what I mean by an operation. This is, and anybody who thinks this isn't an operation really needs to become more schooled in politics, of the game of politics, because to these guys, it's just a game. That's all it is. To us, it's like, oh, this guy's running for president. This guy's running for president. I'm going to vote for this guy. There's a whole game behind it. This is a chessboard. It's a big, massive chessboard. Guys play their whole lives so they can get into this game. So that's what I mean by operation, right? It's clearly an operation, but that's okay. If the information is true, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
No, I mean, I see no reason to believe
they're not fabricating information. It looks like this stuff is all legit. So hey, that's to the victor goes the spoils. Hey, when it comes to intel, when it comes to dirt, if you got the goods, you got the goods. And to the victor goes the spoils. That's the way it is. It's the way it always is, whether it's journalism or intel. If you got the smoking gun, you got the smoking gun. And when you have the stuff, I'm here to tell you, when you have this stuff, you can write your own rules. and you can leak stuff out and drop stuff out, and you can have everybody losing their mind, including Twitter, including Facebook. It's just, I have to tell you, it's amazing to me how naive these geeks are. They have all this wherewithal that they can build these incredible platforms and get people to join them, and they monetize them and they make all this money. But when the chips are down, they're still basically naive children.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In some meetings,
simple-minded.
They don't have guys like me in some meetings saying, whoa. This is going to get much worse. You know, if you seriously, if you're going to ban somebody or you're going to lock something down, you wait and see how it goes, right? You don't do it right out of the gate because you just make that thing much bigger. Whenever you start banning things and censoring things, you just put a national spotlight on the whole thing. You threw gasoline on the fire, right? So if they were more seasoned, because I think Twitter and Facebook are similar, I think they're political operations. I don't think that they're, some people say, these are social media platforms. No, they're not. They're political machines, right? Meant to further the ideologies of their founders and their board members. And very few of those people are conservatives. Okay. So they don't have enough seasoning to figure out that this is going to get worse. I mean, look.
Wait a minute.
You know?
Sorry to interrupt you, Mike, but this is the MIT Technology Review saying Twitter's ban almost doubled the attention for Biden misinformation. How the hell do they arrive at the conclusion that it's misinformation before it's even been evaluated? And I mean, we've got the usual collection of social engineering dopes, maybe even more. There seemed to be on overtime in this last week who are saying, nothing will come of this. That is incorrect. There is so much evidence right now to support these allegations.
Yeah, you have to look at it like this, right? The op here is to get a candidate elected. It's not about putting anybody in jail. That's not this op. This op was timed on purpose for a reason to boost Trump's chances of winning the White House. This has nothing to do with jail. That's off the table. That's not even on the table, right? You actually think they're going to put Joe Biden in jail, right? I mean, the chances are, you and I talked, the chances are something nefarious would happen to one of these players before that happens, right? Just like an Epstein type situation, anything can happen, right? But the op here is the timetable is 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. They unveiled it last week. That's the op. Win the election. Anything else happens after that, who cares, right? The immediate op is if you don't win the election, no one's going to jail anyhow. Because it's a hell of a gamble, bro, because it really is. And we talked about it here today. And I love the people who who watch on YouTube and they already have things figured out. You know, and sometimes I say to myself, why are they watching? And I said to you, why are we even doing YouTube? And then you said, hey, there's basically we came to the consensus that we're looking for the really smart people, and we have to wade through a sea of certain individuals who you have to go through this to just give me a few smart people an episode to come over, and those are the people I want to talk to. Those are the people I want to try to reach, because most of the people they're not reachable because they're not ready to listen. When you're ready to listen and you're ready to learn, like anything else, that's when you grow. That's when you learn. That's when you mature. So last week I had no tolerance for these people because they were saying, crazy stuff. Oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Well, it turns out we knew exactly what we were talking about. In fact, we could have been wearing the turban with the crystal ball because
we should have done that
because we told the future. Said nothing's going to come of this, and people are like, oh, you guys are out of control. I'm not watching you guys anymore. You sold out. Did we? Because we were right. Because we know, as I said, I know all the players on this Silk Road. I know them all. I know all the traders. I know who can be trusted, who can't be trusted. I was on this road for 10 years on this story and trying to break through to people, saying that I'm an idiot. Okay, cool. But I'm an idiot that knows what he's talking about, and you're not. So again, we're trying to siphon off a few smart people who want to learn more, right? And who can also join a community where they might have something to offer other people, like in the forums and things like that, where they can also, because everybody has their own expertise, they can teach people. And hey, and I learn from the folks who are our subscribers. I do. And that's why, even though I said, I'm not doing YouTube anymore, okay, because it's insane. And you said, well, cool out, we'll see where it goes. So the problem is now there's just so many people, you don't know who is legit, who's not legit. It's like, it's crazy on YouTube and other places, so I'm glad we're building something where we know who we're dealing with, and you don't get threatened for having an opinion. Either way, whether you're a person who is subscribed and is partaking in a forum discussion, and they say something, I get people jack me up all the time on there, on Patreon, and on Subscribestar, and I say, all right, cool. I didn't think of it that way. I don't say like, hey, you're out of control. I'm going to threaten you and things like that. It's like, people don't act this way in real life. You realize that, right?
Well, it's
on
social
Twitter,
engineering, Mike. That's what we're pointing out. And people who are watching the show are seeing what's happening right here. And it's obviously fake people. They're selecting names of people that we know, people that have been social engineers on here in the past, whether it's actually them or somebody else. They're trying to disrupt this broadcast. You and I didn't just look at this thing that came out 2 weeks ago and say, we've decided it's fake. We evaluated it, and based on what they were saying, what they were doing, what they were not doing, we just determined that if this were real, if these people had actual information, there'd be different things happening. And now we've exposed this operation, and I think certain people are upset about that. I want to point out, Mike, the Daily Beast is another one of these social engineering platforms.
Boo-hoo, right? If you think it's bad now, wait a few months, 2021, depending on who wins. If you think things are bad now on the journalism landscape, you wait until it all blows up, until the money runs out for these people, and they start panicking and doing crazy things to try to get their money, right? Because
Mike,
they're paid money.
They're panicking right now. We put out that video last week. Let me just address this for a second, because I think it's important. There's a lot of social engineering going on right now in our chat room, and it's because they tried to shut us down. If this information was wrong, useless, stupid, nobody would care. Some of the videos are available on...
Thanks for helping me sell more books, you dummies.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what happened was, the video got taken down by Vimeo, which is, as we've discussed, it's owned by the same company as the Daily Beast,
so what happened?
Well, I posted it on banned.video, BANNED.video, Alex Jones' InfoWars platform. We got 32,000 people viewing it.
So how did that work out for them?
Didn't work out for them, but I'm glad that more people were buying the book.
What MIT said, and what happens when you tell people they can't see something, they're more apt to want to watch it and find out for themselves. They'll be the ones who can look. We're still Americans, right? Americans don't like to be told what to do, and they don't like to be pushed around for the most part. So when these geeks try it, most people say, Jason, I'll be the judge of what I can view and what I can't view. You're not going to be the judge. And then they say, where can I find that at? Now I have to really find this. It must be pretty good if they yanked it off a platform. So that's where we're headed. So they don't understand. I've said this for years. When haters come out of the woodwork and stuff, thank you, because we don't have a marketing budget. The haters are, they're the marketing budget. They drive other people to say, hey, if this lunatic who's been bitching about everything for the last 4 years, and it probably is on heavy medication, if this upsets this maniac, maybe there is something to this guy. Maybe he is legit. So they don't understand that people see, it happens. People are like, hey, this guy complains about everything. We did a social media search on him, and he's always hammering people. It's like, yeah, he's a paid shill. But they actually drive traffic. They actually help build people who are legitimate. So it's a thing of beauty. That's why I never, if you want to complain, we're good with that, because we'll put it to good use like everything else.
Yeah, and certainly, these social engineers would not be here making ridiculous comments if what we were saying was useless. They're concerned that without constraints from social media giants, the information that we are bringing forward, Mike, would just catch fire by itself. So people are telling me that just in the moments since we've gone live, investigators have the laptop with Hunter Biden's purported emails, and the FBI now agrees they're not linked to Russia. I mean, that was so obvious. That was the most idiotic Adam Schiff. That was a pile of Schiff from Congress there. That there's just no, So you're telling me the Russians made a fake Hunter Biden signature, sent a Hunter Biden lookalike to the computer store.
Real quick, the last thing I'll say is, if I was part of this, the way you set it up is you drop the initial thing, you let people dig a grave, right? Then the next tenet of your operation is get somebody in Congress or get somebody in a position of power, law enforcement, in this case, the FBI or the Delaware State Police, get them to accept whatever evidence you have. And then once it's in their hands, start dropping more stuff. It's like you're carpet bombing. You're destroying people. You know who was a real pro at this?
Who?
Andrew Breitbart, one of the best. He would suck people in with these stories. They'd be like, "You're a liar. You're a fraud." He'd be like, "Oh yeah, well wait till tomorrow." They're like, "What? What do you mean? You didn't use everything you had?" And he's like, "Boom, boom, boom." And it's like by the time it's over, 3 or 4 days, like if you're on the other side, please make him stop. Somebody stop. When's it going to stop?
That's what's happening, Mike. We shut down their latest stupid op last week, which I guarantee that thing was designed to deflect people away from this explosive Hunter Biden information. Everything about it just screams that it's real. Why haven't we heard Hunter Biden or Joe Biden say this is false? Donald Trump has repeatedly said anything having to do with this Russia collusion thing is false. We haven't seen so much as a video of Donald Trump walking into a hotel in Moscow, no records of him traveling to Moscow, no testimony from prostitutes. Every day since this dropped the other day, more information is coming out that's backing this story up. I think what they're doing, Mike, is they're dropping a safe on the heads of all the fake news people who have been just saying this is fake for the past 3 days.
If they still have accounts, No,
I mean, like MIT, CNN, all these things that are saying this is disinfo.
They're paid to do that, man. They're paid. They're all paid. See, USA Today is one of the big fact checkers against the Gates conspiracy, quote unquote, conspiracy theories and Gates Foundation conspiracy theories. Guess who pays USA Today and Gannett?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Yes.
He's stroked all kind of millions of dollars of checks to them. Plus, we don't even know what kind of contracts they have because that's private, right?
Right.
So the fact checkers are on the take. They're on the take. And they work in concert with Facebook and places like that. It's like, wait a minute, this is completely rigged. But here's the deal. There are a lot of smart people out here. See, that's what these folks never figure out. People can understand when they're being played. And we saw the power of that with the vaccine. 75% of the people thought vaccine was a good idea. And now you're lucky to get half. That's a significant swing where half the country says, I don't want that. Are you crazy? Okay. So they didn't think about that. They thought everybody was going to line up. They would use fear to get everybody to pump battery acid into their arms. It didn't turn out that way because of alternative media and independent media. And the fact that they're banning people who are writing stories about vaccine dangers and things like that, it only makes it bigger. It only makes it bigger. Simple as that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just like what's going on right here in the chat. I mean, maybe in 2017, this might have worked. But what we've done here, Mike, is that, in part through the sponsor exclusive shows that you and I have created on subscribestar.com/TruePundit, patreon.com/TruePundit, and Subscribestar and Patreon/Crowdsource the Truth. We've cultivated a crew of people who are way smarter than the average dope watching CNN. And when they see people here in the chat that they've never seen before just hurling nonsense, They know that's not true. And that should motivate people even more to join us on the sponsor exclusive segment, which is actually going to start in 5 minutes. We got to get over there quickly. And I know we have a lot more to talk about.
I'll predict the future again real quick. It won't matter. 2021, independent media, most people are going to a paywall, their own paywall. If you're smart, you'll get off YouTube, you'll get off Twitter, you'll get off Facebook. And if you have something to offer, people will come and find you, and you'll have your own platform. And nobody can yank you from that unless you get really out of control. But so the dopes who check in with their nonsense, they're going to fall by the wayside because you know what? They don't pay for anything. They're just along for the free ride. And so the way to get rid of those people and other people who cause problems, to say, hey, if you, just like anything, do you pay for cable television because there's value in it? Yes.
Yeah.
You pay. So if you want to play, you got to pay. That's the wave of the future. And people in independent media who don't subscribe to that are going to vanish. And they're already vanishing, by the way. They're already getting thrown off these platforms, and they didn't prep themselves to get their own sandbox. Build your own sandbox. Forget about these people. Why should we make Twitter money, Facebook, YouTube? Every time we're on here, they're making money on ads. You don't make money on the ads. They play ads on this show. You don't make money. They do, right? So every time we're on these platforms, they're making money. Why should they make money off of us, and then they kick us in the teeth?
And they throw you off. They throw you off after years. I'm with you.
Out.
All right, Mike, we're going to transition over to Patreon and Subscribestar. I want to remind our viewers, including the social engineers that like to crap up the chat, that they should be getting their news from TruePundit.com. And people are also going to want to tune in to the Thomas Paine podcast and listen to Mike's daily podcasts. Sponsors on True Pundit. You're going to get the ad-free video version of Paine in the morning. And people who go to subscribestar.com/crowdsource the truth or patreon.com/crowdsource the truth, you can join us in a loser-free environment with none of these social engineers.